Welcome to this episode of OLR Connections, the podcast of the Ohio Lodge of Research. Today we have something a little different than our other episodes. The active members regularly encourage our brothers to write and share the lessons they have learned from Masonry. With this in mind, I will be sharing with you an essay that I recently wrote entitled, "The Brotherhood of Man from the Manhood of the Brother." As this is a personal work, I feel compelled to remind you that the thoughts and opinions expressed in this essay are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the thoughts or ideas of any other organization, including the Ohio Lodge of Research or the Grand Lodge of Ohio. They are my thoughts as I understand them today. However, I will continue to learn and explore. Therefore, I reserve the right to change my opinion as needed based on that new information. During the American Civil War, a young captain in the Army of the South was taken prisoner and brought up the Mississippi to Rock Island. The northern climate was severe on the southern men, proof of which can be found on the files of the War Department. The young captain fell ill, desperately ill. He made himself known as a Mason to an officer of the prison. The officer took him out of the prison to his home and nursed him back to life. When the war ended, he put money in his pocket, gave him a little pistol to protect him on his way back into his southern home. Similar stories have been told and retold in Masonic lodges. They illustrate the compassion, respect, and servitude existing in the brotherhood. They explain to non-Masons how Masons are expected to behave, and they remind Masons of the obligations they've taken. Obviously, most Masons are not making their way off to war, are not going to find themselves in captivity as prisoners, nor are they likely to find themselves in a situation nearly this dire. Nonetheless, all Masons feel a little more comfortable as they go out into the world, knowing there are brothers looking out for them, sometimes when they are not even aware. However, what would you have done if you were the officer in the prison? Are you just as likely to extend your hand to help a brother as you are willing to receive the hand being extended to you? Are you willing if that brother has differing opinions or comes from a different culture? The core principles of Freemasonry are brotherly love, relief, and truth. In other words, the doing of good and the spreading of light in the spirit of goodwill. It seemed to me that what the world needed after the Civil War was more light, more love, more understanding, and that is what it needs today. The whole principle of Freemasonry is that brotherhood of man begins with the manhood of the brother. It seeks to build men and then make them brothers and builders. Any other kind of brotherhood is weak, if not futile, either a flabby sentimentalism or a calculating selfishness. Masonry is made up of strong men, picked men. They cannot be picked too carefully, sworn and trained to make righteousness and goodwill prevail. By that very fact, a great responsibility rests upon us, which we cannot escape, even if we desired to do so. The quotations included in the above text were written by Joseph Fort Newton, author of The Builders, and educational director of the Masonic Service Association for their meeting on October 29, 1923. The young captain from the Army of the South was his father. The words he spoke over 100 years ago could not be more relevant today. Recall the words revealed to the newest Masons in the entered apprentice degree. By the exercise of brotherly love, we are taught to regard the whole human species as one family, and are to aid, support, and protect each other. On this principle, Freemasonry reunites men of every country, sect, and opinion, and conciliates true friendship. To relieve the distressed is a duty incumbent, particularly on Freemasons, who are linked together by an indissoluble chain of sincere affection, to soothe the unhappy, to sympathize in their misfortunes, to compassionate their miseries, and to restore peace to their troubled minds. To be good men and true is the first lesson we are taught in Masonry. Hence, while influenced by this principle, hypocrisy and deceit are unknown among us. Sincerity and plain dealing distinguish us, and the heart and tongue join in promoting each other's welfare and rejoicing in each other's prosperity. Every Mason has heard these words many times. Although the initiation is undoubtedly an important introduction to Masonic teachings, each Mason should take every opportunity to reevaluate the meaning and ponder the impact these words and attitudes have on their lives. We learn by inculcation. However, repetition can also result in desensitization and lead us to overlook the important lessons. These lessons and sentiments are as relevant today as they were when they were written and should not be forgotten. While it is valuable to know the hand of a brother will be outstretched when we need assistance, every Mason should be encouraged to aid, support, and protect their brothers. Even if conflict may be a part of their past, brothers should let those transgressions go and conciliate true friendship. Masons must treat their brothers with honesty and do everything within their power to assist, whether unified or separated on particular issues. Always remembering hypocrisy and deceit are unknown among us. Sincerity and plain dealing distinguish us. We should be promoting each other's welfare. As the outside, profane world creates a confusing and uncertain environment, brothers should be able to come within the sacred walls of the lodge for security and a sense of normalcy. The timing is always appropriate to offer an attentive ear, to soothe the unhappy, to sympathize in their misfortunes, to compassionate their miseries, and to restore peace to their troubled minds so we can rejoice in each other's prosperity. More light, more love, more understanding. This is what Masonry has always offered. This is what Masons should offer his brother always. Do you have a paper or an essay you would like to share with the Ohio Lodge of Research community? Submit it for consideration. Papers are regularly presented at in-person meetings and virtual meetings, or maybe it will be shared on a future episode of the OLR Connection. Thank you for joining us for this episode, and never stop learning.